Hello, good afternoon. Happy to be on today to chat about the biggest misconceptions that I see people having about self-publishing. So hi, I'm Dr. Beth Brombos of Blogger to Author. I'm a best-selling author and I have helped other bloggers and entrepreneurs repurpose their content, in some cases write new content so that they can have books that have helped them build authority, really help them set themselves apart from their competitors and other bloggers in their niche. And it's also helping them build their businesses. Today I wanted to get on and again chat with you about self-publishing because I know some of you out there, and I know this because I've talked to you, are a little resistant to self-publishing. You really have your heart set on working with a traditional publisher. And I totally get that. And I don't want to say that you shouldn't work with a traditional publisher. If that is your dream, then by all means do it. But I think that some people, they set aside the idea of self-publishing because they have these misconceptions. But if they understand that they are just that, misconceptions, that they're not necessarily the truth, then they might see that self-publishing is actually a better choice for them. So I'm not saying that traditional publishing is not the right choice for you, but I think that you should just be aware of all of the ins and outs so that you can make an educated choice, really. So a lot of people, they want to work with a traditional publisher because they think that it brings more clout to them, that it means more, that having a book that's published by a traditional publisher means more than having a book that is self-published. I'll admit, to some people, that's true. I think that there's a little bit of snobbery with some people, a little bit of elitism when it comes to publishing. And those are people, honestly, who it's just very hard to get through to. It can be, too, that, you didn't publish with the right person. They look down on you. So really, I'd encourage you not to pay too much attention to the haters. Don't let them get in your head and just do what you need to do to get your message out into the world. And I also want to let you know that self-publishing is no longer universally looked down on like maybe it was 10 years ago. So self-publishing is becoming an increasingly legitimate way to get your book out. Again, I don't want to sit here and necessarily talk down and, say bad things about publishing, but there are a few downfalls to traditional publishing that is a reason why a lot of people choose to self-publish. The first and foremost, and pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. One of the big reasons is that it does take a lot of time in general to publish a book with a traditional publisher. In most cases, you're looking at least 18 to 24 months from the time that you sign a contract to get your book out into the world. And there are a lot of people out there who have a book that would be perfect in the market right now. And if you waited 18 to 24 months, it may not have as big of an impact. If you are writing about a topic that is like super, super hot right now, it's something that a lot of people are talking about. If you were to wait that long, that amount of time that it takes to get things through with the traditional publisher, it might be past the prime. It might be not as, or, there may not be as many people interested in the topic. And so that's one reason. For most publishing companies, you still also do have to do a lot of the legwork when it comes to promoting your book. And really how much they promote varies from publishing house to publishing house. So there's no universal in how much they'll do, but a lot of places, especially, when it comes down to it, when the book is produced, they may take a look at it and say, okay, we don't think that this is going to sell a ton of books. And so it may fall on your shoulders to do a lot of the media and a lot of the promotion. It's something you absolutely could do. You could also hire a book publicist. But I just like to let people know about that. And that's something that I've heard from a lot of traditionally published authors, is that they still had to go out and hustle to get their books into people's hands. And so if you are somebody who wants to work with a traditional publisher because you think that they're going to take care of all of that, they might, but they might not. And that's something that you should be aware of when you are selecting a publisher or choosing whether or not to traditionally publish or self-publish. So ask the questions, make sure that you know what you're getting into is really what it comes down to. But like I said, more and more people, even like big names in this space, they're starting to self-publish. And because these people are starting to self-publish because they want to retain creative control of their book, some of them want to get their book out into the space faster than what would be possible with a traditional publisher. And some of them just want to retain a higher percentage of the royalties. Whatever the reason is, big names are self-publishing books, and because they're choosing to self-publish books, and because self-publishing is becoming so popular, really for the reasons that I just named off, it's starting to become, it is already a completely legitimate way to get your book out into the world. So back in the day, people used to look down on self-published books. That's no longer the case because in part, there are so many people choosing to self-publish books that could have gotten a deal with a traditional publisher, but they just decided to do it on their own. And because there are very high quality books that are being self-published, it no longer has that sort of tarnished reputation. So that's one reason. One of the other big misconceptions that people have about self-publishing is that it's really expensive. They think that they're going to have to pay a ton of money. And again, this comes from old school self-publishing and also working with vanity publishing. So it used to be that you would have to pay thousands of dollars to get a small run of books printed. And in some cases, like for example, if you want hardcovers of your book, there are one that I can think of. There's one publisher that does print on demand with hardcovers. So in some instances, you might have to go and pay a printer to print your book. But really the game changer has been the development and the popularization of print-on-demand services like CreateSpace is the big one. Barnes & Noble has its own print-on-demand service as well. There are several out there. I just know that CreateSpace is the one that most people go through. It's the one that I've gone through. And then you can also do it through Kindle Direct Publishing as well, which is another branch of Amazon. But really, the long story short there is that with print on demand, you don't have to pay for copies ahead of time. You don't have to have them in stock unless you're, say, heading to an event where you're going to be signing books and you need to have some in hand. So really, if you were to format your book yourself and if you design your own cover and even, for example, CreateSpace and Kindle too, KDP, they both have some cover templates that you could use for free. So if you're willing to do that, or if you're willing to design your own using free elements, you could publish your book for nothing. You could just get it out there and get it into people's hands. Of course, you do need to pay the cost of any copies that you want for yourself. Usually those are just, if you order through CreateSpace or KDP, it's a couple dollars a book, although it varies with the length and the size of the book, and then you have to pay shipping on top of that. But really, it's incredibly inexpensive. You're not going to have to pay thousands of dollars to do that. So if you think it's going to be really expensive to do, keep in mind that if you're willing to DIY, if you're capable of DIYing, it's very low cost. Even if you need to hire some people to help you out with certain stages, that can also be very low cost as well, depending on who you have help you out. And the third misconception that I hear a lot of people struggle with is the fact that they think it's going to be really hard. I won't lie to you. I will tell you that a lot of my students my clients, they get kind of hung up on the formatting. And really that's going to be the hardest part of it, is the formatting if you're going to DIY it. But all of them figured out how to do it. And just because it took them some extra time doesn't mean that it wasn't doable. And now they're writing their second books, and formatting and getting them out there is a lot easier. So yes, it might take you a little bit of extra time, but it's totally doable. And again, that's also something that you could hire somebody to do for you. For example, it's something that I do, or I'll hop on and my students, I'll kind of help them through the tricky parts as well. And they do get extra training in my course as well on how to do that. So it's tricky, but it's not impossible, is really the point I want to get across here, is that you have the capability to do this, especially if you spent some time within Microsoft Word and you know the difference between like page breaks and section breaks and everything, and you know just how to work Word in basic ways. You'll be able to really go ahead and format it yourself and get it into print. And really, my purpose with this is to help open your eyes to how attainable this is, and really how possible it is for you to self-publish your book and to get it into print. Having that print book is just, it's another level on top of just having an ebook. And I'm sure you can imagine this. Just imagine what it feels like, or you probably know people who have books in print, even if they're self-published. You probably know also people who just have ebooks. How do you look at them differently? That ability to actually hold up a book and show people that they have a book in their hand, it's a distinguishing factor. So I just want to let you know it's attainable for you. You can do it. You can get all of that authority and credibility and just people seeing you as an expert. You can get all of that with a self-published book, and it's totally possible. It's something you absolutely can do. So I just really hope that I can inspire you to do this through this video, and I hope that your eyes will be opened a little bit to all of the possibilities. If you need extra help with anything, any of those steps, I do offer consulting or one-on-one courses, one-on-one little strategy sessions. I do also offer, I've got the Blogger to Author course that walks you through the whole, every single step of the process. And then I also offer formatting services and compiling and ghostwriting services as well, if you just don't even have time to write the book. So if you want details on any of that, you can head to bloggertoauthor.com/services. You can learn about all of those there. But yeah, the moral of the story and the take-home message from this video is that it is absolutely doable, and I hope that this inspires you to think seriously about self-publishing your book, because it's something you can do. I know you can, and it's really going to pay off for you, figuratively and literally. So have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions about self-publishing in the comments, and I will see y'all later.